لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. صدق الله العظيم.
On behalf of IAP RIC, the chairman and the executive committee, I welcome architect Anwar to Islamabad. We are really glad to have this event and have him here. I would now like to request him to come on the stage and join us. Architect Anwar obtained his Bachelor's of Architecture degree from the University of Liverpool, England. He was elected Associate Member of the Royal Institute of British Architects in 1967. In November 2016, he was elected Fellow of the Royal Institute of British Architects. Anwar was appointed Associate Member of the Institute of Architects of Pakistan in 1965. He was awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award by the IAP in 2003. He was elected Fellow of the IAP in 2006. In 1968, Anwar joined the Capital Development Authority Islamabad as Director of Architecture and was in charge of designing all governmental buildings. He served in the CDA for a continuous 32-year period as Director of Architecture, Director General Design, and as Member Design. During this period, he was responsible for designing over 150 buildings. In addition, Anwar set up his private firm, Said Architects, and designed embassies, banks, schools, and residencies in his private capacity. Anwar won various design competitions and was the recipient of numerous prestigious awards. This function is not only to launch the 2 architectural books by Anwar but also to celebrate the election of Mr. Anwar as a Fellow of the Royal Institute of British Architects in November 2016. This is a special honor, not only for Mr. Anwar but also for the entire country, as he is not only the first, but is the only Fellow of the RIBA ever elected from Pakistan. Mr. Anwar was invited by the RIBA for the formal distribution of the Fellow certificates to London in February, which he attended. Some of the pictures taken in the ceremony are displayed in this function. I would now like to call him on the stage and say a few words about his work. Let's please give him a great standing ovation.
Honorable friends and family members, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for taking time out to attend this function that the Institute of Architects of Pakistan have so graciously arranged for the launching of my 2 architectural books and celebrating my having been elected Fellow of the Royal Institute of British Architects. I thank Samia for giving me an exceptionally flattering introduction. I don't intend to give you my life history in this talk. However, I feel it would be only fair to give the audience, for their understanding, a brief background of my association with the field of architecture and for the compilation of these 2 architectural books. My secondary education was at the Islamic College at Peshawar, from where I proceeded to the Liverpool University in the UK for my postgraduate studies in architecture. I obtained my B.Arch degree in 1964 and returned to Pakistan in 1965 to work as an architect in my late father's firm, Said Architects. In 1967, after sitting for Part 3 of the Royal Institute of British Architects examination, I was elected as an associate member, ARIBA, of the Royal Institute. Around 1966, having designed an international squash court complex for the PAF, I was offered and I joined as chief architect in the Pakistan Airport engineering section at the air headquarters in Peshawar. Later in 1968, in response to an advertisement, I applied to the Capital Development Authority, Islamabad, and was inducted as Director Architecture, Chief Architect of the capital city, where I served for a continuous 32-year period. As Director General Design, and as Design Member of the Board of CDA, till I retired in the year 2000. During this period, I had the privilege of personally designing well over 150 buildings, some of which are part of my publications. Since my father passed away in 1978, I registered my private firm in the name of Said Architects in 1981 and carried out numerous design projects in my private capacity, which are also highlighted in my books. Regarding the compilation of my books, I would like to mention that the exercise from inception to the final printing has taken me no less than 2 decades of continuous input. I decided to single-handedly undertake this task, making use of the old photographs I had taken over the years since the 1960s of my various projects and drawings, and in addition, I myself made all the 3D architectural images of the unbuilt projects as reproduced in these 2 books. Also, all the text explaining the projects was my own doing, except the editing which was carried out by my daughter Shandana. I therefore request that the quality of books, or lack thereof, be judged, keeping in view the shortcomings and difficulties I faced and my limited know-how about book writing, printing, etc., and having no access to modern day technologies. Nevertheless, I felt that I needed to publish these books containing my architectural projects so that they could be of use to budding architects and students of architecture, and for the lay reader with interest in the field of architecture to study the variations of design concepts that I conceived for each and every project based on the client's requirements. It was my endeavor that each project I designed was not merely a plan and an elevation, but was a 3-dimensional original creation, whether it be a residential house or a larger building. These ideas are highlighted in the books. In addition to the architectural projects, the books show my paintings and sketches, letters of commendation and awards, etc. The books also contain a chronology of my projects from 1966 to 2012. Unfortunately, at least one-fourth of my projects are not included, as the drawings and photographs were either lost or misplaced over the course of time. I would like to mention that I submitted draft versions of these books to the RIBA, and these played a vital role in my being elected a Fellow of the Royal Institute of British Architects, FRIBA, in November 2016. This was an incredible honor, enormous honor for me, as I believe I am the first and only Fellow of the Royal Institute of British Architects to be elected from Pakistan, as Samia Zoka mentioned. Copies of these books are now available at the RIBA library at their headquarter building at Portland Place, London. The books which were printed in London have been dedicated to my late father, my late wife Shahid, and to my daughter Shandana, each of whom played a major role in my destiny as an architect, and to whom Khan, renowned architect and writer, for taking time out from his busy schedule to write a critically analytic essay on my work, which is a part of these books. Finally, I can't thank Mr. Kabir Malik, Chairman IAP, and his team enough for their kind gesture of organizing this book launch. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for honoring me by your kind participation.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to hear such kind words from you. I would now like to invite Chairman Institute of Architects Pakistan Rawalpindi-Islamabad chapter to express his gratitude over having a legend among us today. Please, everybody, give a hand to the Kabir Malik. Thank you, Kabir Malik.
There are times when I become wordless, very real. Today is one of them. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I represent IAP Rawalpindi-Islamabad chapter, and we made this memorable event possible. I'm really indebted to my entire team, my executive committee, for making it happen. A round of applause for them. Respected fellow of IAP, top tiers of practicing architects, young and energetic architects, smart and intelligent young architects, and my bright student architecture students. Lastly, and most importantly, Sir Anwar Sisa, Assalamu alaikum. We at IAP have been taught by our seniors to carry forward the legacy of respect and to acknowledge and to bring forward the contribution of each of our architects through our workshops, our seminars, our talks between the practicing architects and the academic, and above all the IAPEX, which is one of our main events, which happens every year. A few months back, when Anwar Sahib met me in one of the functions, so we went through the discussion that maybe we will be in a position to launch his book, and I'd like to register here that this is the first book, please correct me if I'm wrong, by my fellows of the IAP, that IAP has never launched a book by any architect. They have written books by Kamal Khan Mumtaz, but the IAP platform has never been used. So this is an achievement not for the local chapter, this is not an achievement for the IAP, this is not the achievement of the PKP, this is the achievement of the architectural family of this region. This is the first, perhaps the most, the launch of the book, which respects the book that you have written, sir, the author of the book. We're very much sure that anybody who's going to treasure this book in the library, their personal and the university library, will have to learn a lot. And Mr. Anwar Said is a living legend, and we are proud because he is from my chapter. That is the best part, sir. You've been an iconic figure for many of us. We have learned a lot from you. Anwar sir, you made our day today. You have really made our day. Sir, we are indebted to you for your architecture, the way you have promoted architecture, your promotion of the talent, and your entire tenure of supporting many young, bright architects who have been, they are here, many of them are here. You are directly, indirectly supporting the economics of the architecture profession by giving them jobs, internships, and but above all, sir, your morality and your humbleness have really taught us what architecture really means. This is something that I'm going to carry out today after meeting you, sir. We know, sir, that working in that era where this modernism of the straight lines would have been a challenge for you, fighting with the bureaucrats, fighting with the government officers, being in the CDA for many years, this must have been a challenge for you, sir. But this is something which we sure that all architects must also follow the patience that you have to fight for what you design. Your out-of-the-box thinking and you're setting up your new standards of use of concrete and other finishing material has really been a sort of a follow people like us. Sir, I would be incomplete without few of the people who have made me what I am today. And because I requested them personally to be a part of this event, but somehow they were traveling abroad. And I requested them to send their video messages. So I like to play the video message for you. Samia. Madam, Shama Osman was your first intern as well.
Distinguished Chief Guest Anwar Saeed Saab, Architects, Chairman IAP Rawalpindi-Islamabad Chapter, friends, Assalamu Alaikum. It is a great honor for me that the book launch of Anwar Saab is finally being done. Anwar Saab has been my mentor, a friend who guided me at every stage, and I owe a lot to Anwar Saab. And he taught all of us at the stage when there were not many architects. I started my job with Anwar Saab in 1975 at Islamabad, and Islamabad was just confined to Sector F6 and some of the secretariat buildings. The CDA secretariat, where the chairman and executive members were used to sit, and the chairman architecture used to sit, they were in one building. It was true architect's office with models and designs and buildings, and all the time some activity going on. It was at that time when Anwar Saab was the designer. He was a creative designer, and he had a tough time convincing the Prime Minister and the President to accept the modern designs. Housing projects of Kuwait Embassy, which Anwar Saab had done, had not been acknowledged till very recently. His church in F8 again was not acknowledged. The mosque that he has done, the masterpieces, they have been very recently acknowledged by the IAP National Council for the design excellence.
Sir, a lot of applause for Shama Osman Sahiba. For Mr. President for Acacia, Jahangir Khan, Chairperson.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for letting me be part of this and be able to celebrate with you our iconic architect from Islamabad, Anwar Saeed Saab. Anwar Saeed Saab is somebody that we cherish and celebrate. The modernist that he is and the work that he's done in Islamabad over a lifetime is something that we're all very proud of. His work shows a purity and comes across as very clean and crisp lines, much like the kind of education that I had in the tradition of Mies van der Rohe. But he went to the Liverpool school, I believe, and he's been somebody who's encouraged us all throughout. Whenever we met him, he was always very encouraging, always saying, "Bache, do some good work, do some wonderful things." And that is something that we cherish him for his humility, for his clarity, for his excellent work, for the belief that he's had in his work and the consistency of his work that he's always had. So I want to congratulate him on his new book, and I hope I get a signed copy, sir. I'm looking forward to coming back to Islamabad and celebrating with you and all of our friends. And I want to congratulate you, and I want to thank IAP Rawalpindi-Islamabad chapter for starting this tradition of owning and cherishing and celebrating our seniors. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Round of applause for Anwar Saab, my star, Mr. Nayyar Ali Dada.
I knew Anwar Saeed very well. He was easily the best director architecture in CDA. And before him, Khwaja Zahiruddin was one of the prominent ones. And after that, Anwar Saeed was a heavyweight director architecture, I would say. And he produced some good modernist buildings. The finest was a Grindlays Bank building made in diplomatic enclave. Then also a church made by him in Islamabad stands prominently as one of the good works of modern architecture in Islamabad. He had a very strong sort of a accent in developing architectural design, and I admire some of his buildings which he completed in Islamabad. Unfortunately, later on he didn't keep very good health and didn't continue with his practice. But his contribution as an Islamabad-based architect, I think is quite creditable and quite well known.
Thank you very much. Before we go for this video, I would like to request Vice President for IAP, Architect Fawad Sohail Abbasi, to represent the National Council in the IAP. General Fawad.
Thank you, Bir Sahab. It's definitely an iconic moment for all of us to be here. I've always seen Anwar Sahab as one of our modern architects of the country, and I'm so glad Chairman Kabir Malik Sahab was able to push you into doing this with us, sir. It is such an honor to be here with amongst so many fellow colleagues, our seniors who we look up to, and the IAP National Council that I'm currently representing here today has been trying things like these for a long time, and we've been able to launch such a brilliant book by you, and I'm hoping to carry signed copies with me home today and learn from them every day like I do in my own office with my father. And I'm so grateful to all of you for being here, for being part of IAP, because this is the only professional body of architects in the country that represents Pakistan across the board around the world. So, sir, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to, Anwar Sahab, my president for IAP, Ali Zafar Kaisa from Indonesia.
Hello friends, this is architect Ali Zafar Kazi sending you a video message from Semarang, Indonesia. We are here, architect Amina, Ali and myself, to attend the ACGSA roundtable, and we've had a great event and great hospitality given to us by the local chapter. I've made this little video message to congratulate the Rawalpindi-Islamabad chapter and its chairman Kabir Malik for hosting this excellent event, the book launch for architect Anwar Saeed. Anwar Saeed is an iconic personality as far as architecture in Islamabad and Pakistan are concerned. He has wonderful buildings to his credit. He's made some excellent commercial buildings, some schools, and a wonderful church that I've been to myself, and some mosques. Architect Anwar Saeed is also one of the first RIBA UK sort of fellowship holders, and it's a great pleasure to be able to honor him from the IAP Rawalpindi-Islamabad platform. I congratulate him. This publication is going to be a great addition into the local works by local contemporary works by an architect. I salute Anwar Sahab for his career of commitment and iconic service to architecture. I also want to once again thank the Rawalpindi-Islamabad chapter, the whole team, for consistently holding these great events. This book launch is one of the series of events they've had. Architect Kabir Malik, the chairman, has always performed well, and all the best, to all of you from here, from Semarang, Indonesia. And I wish I was there, I could have joined you on this occasion, but this is my message, so keep it up, RIC. Thank you.
Sir, lastly I would like to again thank Anwar Sahab, and sir, with a request that we need more of you. We need more of your time, sir. You have to spare more time for us, sir. We are every students want to meet you. We want to hold more of your lectures, your workshops in the universities. We have NUST, SARDA and NCA, and all the faculties are here, and we would request if you can give more of you. And concepts, no strengths. Absolutely, absolutely. Lastly, sir, thank you very much, sir, for your great work. Your legacy will remain with us forever in shape of your sweet memories that I carry today, and many of us who always wanted to be personally there, take pictures and your books. Anwar Sahab books are available here, and you can, once we end up, please be candid to get a signed copy from him. This is going to be a treasure for you. I'm really personally grateful to all my architects who just came here, especially my senior architect and my executive committee. This is your chapter, this is your IP, and we rock. Thank you, sir, once again for your presence here. I would like to request Sohail Saab, Salman Mansoor Saab to please come on the stage. Architect Zia Saab, Tamimi Saab also.
Can I please invite Architect Anwar Saeed on the stage as well to receive his shield? Now, Architect Anwar Saeed would like to give away his books to the Chairman, RIC, Kabir Malik. Thank you so much everybody for coming today, and I'm sure you all had a good time and had something to learn from the talk today. We would now have a group photo, so before we can go to the high tea, so everybody please come up for the group photo. And obviously, sir, please, definitely you. The architects.
You're in the film. You should also go and
Are you okay?
Everyone ready?
شاندان مخ کنه